thought you were going to say you had a booger up your nose.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Lex Morningstar, and this YouTube channel is about the 16 personality types and the human condition. Now, if you've been following this channel for the past month or two, you would know that we've been doing a series of the INFP versus another personality type in the 16 personality spectrum, and today's video is just that. And we are doing the ENFJ versus the INFP. Now, I know what you're thinking. The INFP and the ENFJ seem to be the perfect match in kind of every sense of the word. However, the INFP and the ENFJ are not exempt from clashing and from forming conflicts between each other, and that is what this video is about today. So I will be focusing on the conflicts that can arise between both types, how to resolve them, and I'll also be interviewing my stepdad Richard Tubiers so that you can kind of get a feel between our personality types, because of course he's an ENFJ and I'm an INFP. So we're going to be focusing on the conflicts that have arisen between us and how we've resolved them. Let's begin with the video.
It's getting funky, baby. We're sweating now.
So, as always, I will be looking at the cognitive functions of both the ENFJ and the INFP to give a brief overview of what these two types are all about, and then I'll go on to discuss the personalities and the conflicts, etc., etc. So the ENFJ's leading function is extroverted feeling for connecting and considering others and the group. The supporting function is introverted intuiting for foreseeing implications, transformations, and likely effects. The relief function is extroverted sensing for experiencing and acting in the immediate context. And the aspirational function is introverted thinking for analyzing, categorizing, and evaluating according to principles. INFP. Where is it? Oh my god. So the INFP's leading function is introverted feeling for valuing and considering importance, beliefs, and worth. The supporting function is extroverted intuiting for interpreting situations and relationships and pick up meanings and interconnections to other contexts. The relief function is introverted sensing for reviewing and recalling past experiences and seeking detailed data. And the aspirational function is extroverted thinking for segmenting, organizing for efficiency, and systematizing. So who is the ENFJ, you ask? Well,
I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
As a natural born leader, the ENFJ will often act as a catalyst for human growth. Through charismatic and altruistic pursuits, the ENFJ focuses on values, ideas, and people, often motivating and generating ambitious endeavors both in themselves and in others. They are highly passionate, driven, and intuitive people, operating through their primary function, operating through their primary function, extroverted feeling, where they will gain fulfillment by backing the potential in others and in convictions they will passionately and fiercely fight for. ENFJs have sharp, persuasive abilities. Their demeanors are infectious, and they know how to work the room through a natural confidence and influential persona. That's why you find many ENFJs will be politicians. They bear the conviction within themselves to face conflict where they need to, in pursuit of standing up for what they believe in and protecting their honor, especially when it involves altruistic and authentic means.
Did not see that coming.
Now the INFP, on the other hand, while possessing the ability to think intuitively and altruistically too, prefers to focus on the what-ifs of ideas and concepts. INFPs prefer to focus inwardly to process how they feel about certain external positions, often fighting for what is right, through passive means, of course, YouTube videos, in accordance to their personal values.
We set out to save the Shire, Sam. And it has been saved. But not for me.
The INFP cares deeply about others and has an unmatchable ability to empathize. although their mode of helping others develops through different methods to the ENFJ. The INFP's internal process, introverted feeling, means the INFP can appear humble in their demeanors and their actions. This can be difficult when the INFP requires external and assertive action when displaying cases which are important to them. While the INFP's idealistic, authentic and highly driven approaches to purposes and objectives works well for the ENFJ, who can efficiently lead or support the INFP to achieve and exceed. This does not mean that they are exempt from clashing, and in fact, two fiery differing positions from both parties, according to the specific cognitive processes, can create an interesting and dissonant dynamic. So let's look at the two different types and where they differ. So the INFP will do what they feel is right based on what they value and based on their moral compass, whereas the ENFJ will do what they feel is right to make the biggest impact on the group and considering other people in the group. The INFP prefers to work behind the scenes to create a positive impact, utilizing their intuitive and creative insights, whereas the ENFJ is confident with taking on a leadership position due to their drive of implementing their cause and helping others. The INFP prefers space and freedom to learn and make mistakes without feeling micromanaged. Oh, my darling, ooh, I knocked that. Okay, my darling's here. I'll be right back. Where have I gone?
Just like I left work and it's fucking sunny.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, is it gonna rain again?
The weather forecast said it was 100% a chance of thunderstorms at this time of day.
Oh. Well, yeah, it's autumn. Hope I didn't knock my camera too much. The INFP prefers space and freedom to learn and make mistakes without feeling micromanaged. They like to keep their options open and they prefer to work spontaneously, whereas the ENFJ will work efficiently towards their goals with clear plans and structures in place. The INFP desires harmony and will look to the best in people, at times appearing naive. The INFP will try to avoid unnecessary conflicts, whereas the ENFJ is great at solving issues and conflicts by confronting what is important to bring resolve. ENFJs are very articulate and take little issue in saying what they mean. The INFP can appear shy and aloof, but have a rich internal world containing the drive and inspiration they need to create impact, whereas the ENFJ is action-oriented and people-centered. The ENFJ uses their intuition and empathic abilities to bring connection, resolve, and purpose to people and ideas. So now that we've established the INFP and the ENFJ's differences, let's look at where these conflicts can arise. So considering the different cognitive functions of both types and the way they go about dealing with conflicts and tension and issues which are important to them, the INFP focusing on what they feel is right in their heart, and the ENFJ focusing on bringing a sense of conviction and purpose to themselves, groups, and concepts through leadership. A clash and a conflict can arise and will arise if the two parties can't see eye to eye on certain matters. So, for example, the ENFJ has higher energy levels than the INFP, and the INFJ can also push the INFP too far with their idealistic expectations of the potential that they see in the INFP or in other types. So because the INFP has somewhat of a stubborn streak, if they feel that their toes are stepped on or that they've been pushed too far, they will kind of push back in a very passive, subtle way. And of course this can create some conflict. So yeah, I'm about to explain to you what that looks like. So cue Richard Two Bears. I will be using the example of our relationship to show you what these conflicts look like, because I have known him since I was about 8 years old, and therefore I have a very lengthy experience that I can draw off. So when I was about 12 years old, I think, 11 or 12, I spent a lot of time in my bedroom drawing and writing poetry. I feel it was around this time I was starting to discover or come into my INFP-ness. So while as a preteen I was encouraged to be creative and pursue creative projects. I think Bear worried a little bit about me being shoved in my room away from everyone for like days on end. So he would often say things to me like, stop shutting yourself away in your room and you're being antisocial and we miss you and come downstairs and whatever. My 12-year-old brain, I have very selective memory and can't think of the exact words he would have used. But anyway, this annoyed me because I knew that I was there working very diligently and very hard on my projects, and I was getting better at drawing and writing poetry, and he was interfering with what I was doing. So from my memory, yes, we did have many arguments about this, but of course when you're a parent too, you kind of want what's best for your child. So if they're spending too much time in their room, you would naturally get concerned. But I think it came from a place for me of I wasn't truly understood why I was locking myself away and being an introvert. I think he was quite worried about my mental health and that I was isolating myself, and he wanted to kind of bring happiness out of me by being around me and doing things as a father-daughter thing, if that makes sense. Another example is when I was in my late teens, I discovered musical ability. I really love to write music and play guitar and sing and everything. Bea has extensive music experience from the 60s all the way up until now, living in the United States and in Canada. And he has many muso friends now where he lives in Tauranga. And he would often try to lead me into pushing my music forward and to performing and to recording. He believed in me every step of the way. There have been a few moments within the past 10 years where he had wanted me to join the X Factor and to get up on stage and to perform and everything like that. But because I have the worst stage fright, which yes, I'm working on now, I didn't feel that I was good enough. And that's not coming from a place of I have low self-esteem or lack of belief in myself, but more so like I'm very humble with what I do, with my abilities, with my capabilities, with my talent. And I kind of know that I have to work on myself a lot more than what maybe he thinks I should. And that maybe, because I have this awareness of myself and my abilities, that I know that just, with a little bit more training, a little bit more of being around the right people and adapting to music a little bit more, that maybe I'll be ready then. But of course I knew that Bear wanted to push me into that direction and believed in me because he could see the potential within me. And that is a very ENFJ thing, is for him to see the potential in me and to push me into these different realms of being able to express this talent. Fortunately for us, of course, James and I have been working on our musical project, and I'm slowly beginning to bring music back into my life. And I'm really lucky to have James because he is a professional vocalist and a professional entertainer, and is helping to install that self-confidence and also helping me to develop my skills, because I know that there is a lot of improvement that I need to undergo. So generally when Bear and I get into conflicts, we kind of cease talking to each other. I think it's because INFPs will display reactions to their feelings, and they can be very uncharacteristically outspoken, which Bear can confirm to you that yes, there have been many, many, many moments in our lives where I have just kind of been a little bit too intense, reacting quite intensely. And of course, ENFJs can feel very rejected when they know that the people that are trying to help don't want their help or their expertise or their guidance. So when these kind of conflicts happen, Bear and I are like oil and water. We just don't want to know about it. We're just both so like hurt and affected by it that we just kind of go our separate ways for just a little while. So what happens is that Bear will give me the guidance and the support to push me forward because he can see the potential in me and he wants to absolutely put that into the deep end and let it kind of manifest. And for me, I dig my heels down and I get stubborn, and then the phone calls stop. So now I'm about to interview Bear, and you will get a really good sense of what our relationship is like between the ENFJ, who is Bear, and the INFP, who is me. How are you today, Bear?
I'm really good, thanks, Lex. Hi, everybody.
Okay, are you ready to start the interview?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's
do
have some fun here.
Okay, all right, so the first question is, what is a characteristic in our personalities which annoy one another?
Okay. The characteristics that, your characteristics that annoy me, sometimes I think you're a bit wishy-washy and dreamy and like out there, and I have a hard time following you sometimes. You know, and it's like, oh, okay, a little bit more grounding or something, and you change your mind a lot sometimes, but it's not really annoying, it's just growing pains or something, I guess, I don't know.
It's just a characteristic of mine, it's just like, oh, that's Lex.
So, well, this will be interesting. What characteristics of mine annoy you?
Wow, there's a few. No, well, when I was looking through the interview questions today, thinking about it, there's one thing that really stuck up and made me chuckle, and it's not really a characteristic that annoys me, but it's something that just is fully you, and sometimes like I have to laugh to myself every time it happens. It's kind of like a personal joke to myself. So every time you guys have visitors, or even when we have visitors at our place, you always end up being like the center of the talk. You facilitate and conduct the topics of conversations, and you're just like, see, it's not really an annoying thing. Maybe you can be a little bit too, no, I wouldn't say over the top, but you know, you're very in there, you can talk a room. No one can get a word in. I can't get a word in.
Guilty as charged. Maybe it's my confidence or something, you know, or my personality.
Yeah.
Both, you know.
The second point is, have we pointed this out to each other, and / how have we reacted to these circumstances?
Have we pointed it out to each other?
Trick question.
No, I don't know that we have, actually. I think a big part of our relationship is acceptance, and even I find you quirky and strange sometimes, but you're my daughter and I love you, and so it's acceptance. Sometimes I say off the wall things or give you a weird look or something. But, yeah, I think at the end of the day, we love each other, and it just comes to resolve that we agree to disagree or whatever.
We just inherently accept who each other are. I sure agree. I mean, I certainly haven't pointed that fact out, but I think everyone knows, like even you know, like there's no point, because you already know, and I already know that I'm a bit like, woohoo. The third question, when huge conflicts have arisen between us, how would we generally communicate or react?
Before, after, or during? How would we generally, we are kind of known for bouncing off each other in a kind of
way,
pushy kind of way, you know.
Yeah.
And then we don't talk, and then it takes a while to come back around, and then all is forgiven, and we talk again and
resolve
and get along.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I feel that we will have those blow-ups, and then phone calls stop, they cease, and then they start again. And usually it's because mum's like, the INFJ mum's like, when are you guys gonna talk again? Hey mum.
Yeah. Yeah, mum's over there.
Alright, okay, so the fourth question, how do you think conflict should be disputed between an INFP and ENFJ?
I really hope and think that somewhere in all of whatever's going on, that the two people involved can find a place to sit down and just like put our differences aside and maybe put our feelings aside and just talk about what's gone on.
Yeah.
Without trying to nail it down or anything, you know. Just,
To take the emotion out of it and just to, let the logic and rationale kick in and come to a middle ground.
Take it to a place where it just is.
Yeah.
It's got no attachments. It just is, and we can go, well, okay, that happened.
Okay. Well, that seemed to be the last question.
All right.
Oh, that was the last question. I thought there was more. But anyway, thank you so much, Bea, for joining me today in this interview.
You're very welcome. My pleasure. We'll see you on the weekend.
Cool. All right. See ya. You met my stepdad. When the relationship works, it really does work. And that's the cool thing about the ENFJ and the INFP. They really do make a very good team. And I think that's why Bea and I, for the most part, we do get along like a house on fire. When we're both feeling great and we're both together, it's like magic. So whatever your experience has been with a relationship between an ENFJ or an INFP, no matter which type you are, please leave a comment in the comment section below, and I'd just so very much love to read your experiences. But for now, I hope you have a really good day, night, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world, and I will see you guys all again next time for the next INFP versus XXXXX series. Bye!